The long-awaited UDA grassroots elections finally kicked off. You know, these elections had been postponed twice because of internal wrangles, and there were already two camps from the onset. There was this camp that was being headed by William Samoei Ruto as the chair of the party, and there is another camp that was aligning towards Rigathi Gachagua, who is the deputy chair. From the onset, they had disagreed on the date of this grassroots elections. And then the other bone of contention was who to retain the post of a Secretary General. Some members that are allied to Rigathi Gachagua felt that Ruto wanted Cleopas Malala to retain that post, yet they feel that Malala did nothing to help the UDA. You know, Rigathi Gachagua camp believed that they fought for this party, and therefore somebody like Malala was never in the picture when they were kickstarting the process of, bringing up the party. And then there was the other side of proposals from Ruto's camp that they wanted more than one deputy party leaders. And Rigathi Gachagua would hear none of it. They made it very clear that just like we have one party leader, they would have just one deputy party leader. So there had been a lot of wrangles here and there. And William Ruto, in one of the UDA meetings, told them that, grassroots elections are always very shaky and very precarious. And he mentioned that they would better do it early rather than waiting towards 2027 elections. Kikiumana kiumane sahi, so that those who are disgruntled can move away and they know who to stay with. Now, this election, we are told that UDA had bought about over 200 gadgets. Each gadget that were to be used in this election was costing about 10,000 Kenya shillings, if I'm not wrong. And after the end of the exercise, they had envisaged or projected that it would cost over 200 million Kenya shillings. But it was rocked by problems. Number one, there was this natural problem of weather. It's been raining and floods, and it was cold, and that goes without saying that there was low turnout. The enthusiasm that people had about the UDA is no more. Ruto had expected that people would throng and they would have long queues and lines of people who want to vote for their leaders, but they were a little bit embarrassed because this was not the case. And then there was violence because people are fighting for this and accusations and counter accusations. Now, what caught many people's attentions is the fact that even the gadgets that had cost quite a fortune never worked. And we were taken to certain, some funny news that even the Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja could not vote because the gadgets did not, fail to identify him. He was trying to play PR that, we don't have as much money as the IEBC and therefore this is expected. Then the Dagoretti South Member of Parliament, John Kerry, also was really disappointed that he could not vote alongside many other MCAs. And so that was the first hurdle that they had, these people had thought that managing elections such as this would be very easy. And they got the first taste. Remember when they were together in Jubilee, they had accused Uhuru Kenyatta of trying to block any kind of elections and meetings. Now they found out. So there were leaders who were never identified. And this is very serious. This is the ruling party. They have the money, they have everything. And when they were accused of, the IEBC was accused of those faulty gadgets and interfering with the elections so that William Ruto could ascend to power, they refused. And they were supposed to conduct an impeccable election that proves that they are really legitimately, or they were legitimately elected and they're in power because people elected them. But they looked a shadow of their former selves. And then the real Jose Camargo footprints were found in the UDA system. We are being informed that there are leaders who, because there's a leader here who made a confession that when she went to vote, the gadgets did not identify her. And let's just see, she says, we demand answers because despite attempting to vote, the system failed to recognize my biometrics, yet I was declared a winner later. How is this possible? This lady is called Wanjiru. And so Wanjiru is wondering, she went there to vote, the gadgets did not capture her details, the biometric details, and she was turned away. Then later, she was shocked that she was identified as the winner. She was declared a winner. So she came out. She does not want to be part and parcel of this mess just by being declared a winner. You know, the UDA simply believes in being declared. And once a declaration is done, that is all. In fact, in Kenya, if you want to become a president, just ensure that you are declared by the IEBC chair. That is it. The rest will take care of themselves. When you go to the Supreme Court, you either intimidate or compromise them. So this lady called Wanjiru was declared a winner despite the fact that the biometric machine failed to capture her details and she refused. How I wish that we had people like that. So that was the first insult of Jose Camargo. And then there was an incident where someone who has been dead for over a year, he was buried 1 year ago. I don't know how his name found its way into the list of the aspirants, and she was actually declared a winner. Tell me if this is the ruling party. Tell me if people start accusing this party that they came to power through the back door. How would you even deny that? How do you elect someone who is not alive? How did his name find its way even into the list of those who want to the aspiring list? How did he end there? And this is why we continue to say that there is a big problem. In fact, they were asking that how can one win an election after being deceased for a year? Questioned Catherine Wachira, expressing concern over the integrity of the process. The process was lacking integrity. And we have said this over and over again. Now they can see it for themselves. Integrity, honesty, free and verifiable election, and order regime are like water and paraffin. But what exactly does it mean? Because we expected this, ladies and gentlemen. Number one, there are aspirants who had been declared or that had been chosen to win those elections. I remember even in ODM, sometimes they were saying that fidelity to the party is very paramount during such elections. And so it can always be manipulated. You do remember in the last UDA nominations when Alfred Keter won, and at first he was declared a winner, and Ruto just said, no, I can't go with this man because he will go to parliament and he will be independent. They want people who sing and dance to their tune. So already there are complaints that there are people who have already been identified to be given certain posts. I think they're looking at loyalty because William Ruto is very, very cunning. He's looking at 2027 and he does not want to take any chances. There are also wrangles and power plays and a lot of undertones between him and Rigathi Gachagua. Rigathi would want his people, William Ruto would want his people. You know, this is what William Ruto did When he was planning for 2022, he had placed his people. By 2017, he already had his people. And Rigathi Gachagua has learned closely, very closely with President William Ruto. So he wants to ensure that where Ruto steps, he steps with him. They also understand, now that they have engaged in such elections, that managing grassroots elections are not very easy. I know people have always talked about the men in black when the ODM realized that Ababu Namwamba, who is now a sports cabinet secretary, was poised to become the Secretary General of UDA. And reports had it that William Ruto had compromised him. In fact, Ababu Namwamba was flying choppers and people were wondering, where does he get all this money when he's campaigning? And it was found out through intelligence that William Ruto wanted to capture this party. Once you capture the Secretary General, he's got the party. He's got the party certificate. He can manipulate. He just wanted to plant his men and women within the ODM, thanks to the intelligence of Raila Amolo Odinga. And it is said there have been confessions that they did it very intentionally. And they thwarted those elections, and later they made arrangements. And we now have the super senator, Edwin Sifuna. In fact, he has sealed that gap that was left by Ababu Namwamba. Very loyal, eloquent, a man who will confront you, but will confront you with facts. So they've realized that it is not very easy to manage grassroots elections. We have also confirmed through the confessions of those who participated in it that the Jose Camargo kind of mischief was part and parcel of this regime before, during, and after elections. So let them not even try to deny it. Let them not even try to criticize. Before you do something, you always think that it is easy because you work on imaginations. If this had happened to the ODM, or there's any member of or any affiliate party to the Azimio, they would have talked and yapped. People like Malala would have gone, they would have called a whole press conference just criticizing how the elections went on. It is always very emotive, and they thought it was a very walk in the park. It is an exercise that is very difficult. In fact, already some of them are calling for a repeat or a recount of the exercise. And in fact, they have given the UDA 1 week. If they don't do that, I don't know what they're going to do, because I don't think they can cross over to Azimio. But it's not always very easy. The last thing, ladies and gentlemen, this is a pointer, a vector into what will happen in the next UDA nominations when we will be approaching 2027. Those who are favorites will be given certificates. Just like in any other party, people have complained about all these parties. It tells you that politicians will always remain politicians. We cannot have a credible election with a government that came to power by questionable means, because they believe in it. They believe in using the unpopular means. And this is exactly what is happening. Those who criticized the Azimio when they questioned opening the server, they are now questioning, they want the server to be opened. As I always say, when the shoe is on the other side of the foot, then you realize that things are very different. Let me end by just saying that what is good for the goose is good for the gander. I don't know what you think, but that is my take.